Welcome, everybody. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something quite interesting: the people living with disabilities and the challenging times. I mean, I personally know how it feels like as somebody who have lived in this country for quite a while, what it takes right now to feed and to even transport oneself from one place to another. And I really don't know what it takes for my colleague to do the same. Maybe it's different, maybe it's same, or maybe it's just there. But then again, we have lived or shared experiences. We have somebody in the studio who would share his own experience as someone who is living with a certain condition, to share with us what it means and what it feels like to live in these challenging times with his condition. We have live in the studio a guest, Mr. Linus Chijoke. He's a musician, a poet, and a writer, but he's a little bit physically challenged because he's got a problem with his eyes. Good to have you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How do you do?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
All right, so straight to the point. What for you are the biggest challenges as someone who's living, in this era, and then being the blind as you are?
Finance, money, egokudi. That's the biggest challenge because actually, like I have some other things I could be able to do, sending people or by proxy, but money is what has been limiting me.
That's the biggest challenge.
The biggest challenge is money. Money.
Okay, given the situation of inflation, unemployment, and the economic hardship in the country, as it has affected, how has it affected individuals with disability?
Seriously, it has affected us. Honestly, for those who have who are able-bodied or full-bodied, it is not easy for them or with them. Talk less of people like us who are more or less like depending on people. It's not easy at all because, like, maybe I have somebody who could have been able to give me, like, say, up to maybe 100,000 or 10,000. You only just managed to give me 2,000 or 1,000. Nah, money no deal. This is what he will be able to afford. So because of the economic situation in town, it's affecting everybody seriously.
Okay, so situations where you don't have help, how do you cope with your daily activities?
Well, I have no choice than to cope. Like Paul the Apostle said, I know how to, I manage myself to abase and be abased. So I try to come. At times there's nothing to eat, honestly. At times there's nothing to eat, and I wouldn't even know where to go. Yet I have to manage, believing God that along the line help could come, and that is how I keep on managing. Sometimes it's very, very rough, my brother and sister. It's not easy.
Okay, being in the society that we live now, how difficult does this society play in helping you? How does society help you in your daily activities, knowing that you have this challenge, and some people might hold back or withdraw? How do you face your daily challenges given with the role the society plays?
Well, good thing. I'm a child of God and being led by the Spirit of God. People whom I thought they were friends, so many of them are withdrawn from me because I started to have this challenge seriously about 3 years ago. Imagine this environment I came now. I've been looking for this place. I used to come around here, enter into Godfrey University, interact with the students, sell my books and all that, and get away. But since I started to have this challenge, I've not been going out easily like that. So most of my friends whom I thought will be able to be of help to me. Some, if I'm calling them, they will not pick my calls. They will not pick my calls. So you're dodging me. But very few. It is now I know the essence of that proverb. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Honestly. So only some few friends have been able to stick to me up to this moment. But some, they don't run away. That's all I be.
They say there is ability even in disability. Are there things that you have done even while being blind to make monies for yourself? And how good is that? How are people receiving that thing that you do even in your state?
Thank God for His grace and enablement. By God's grace, God has given me the gifts of music, talent of music and writing. Actually, like I was doing 2 books in 2019/20, which I've stopped for since then because of the sight challenge. And then the ones actually I wrote before now are the ones I've been taken out to go and meet people, to go and introduce to people to buy from me. Then for music, this very album I'm holding in my hand entitled Never Give Up. Actually, when this challenge started seriously, I went to the studio. In fact, I traveled to Owerri to go and do the job in the studio, and honestly, it was not easy. This is the first music I did without holding any book or paper to read out the songs I wrote. So I did all these ones. I don't know whether I'll call it off head or off heart. Honestly, I did all these songs without looking at any paper. It even surprised me and my producer. But God helped me. I was able to package something fantastic without any paper. So it's just the grace of God. I packaged this when this challenge was on.
Yeah, but
music.
This book that you say you have written, did you write it while you were blind? How did you write it?
No, I wrote the books before now. The books have been written and published before now. So what I do now is I go to my printer, I give instruction that they should reprint so topics for me, and then as God will help me, I have the money, I pay them, then pick up the copies and make some distributions and all that.
What inspired the book?
Honestly, first of all, I would say it is God that inspired me, and then 2, situations and circumstances. I see when I see things that happen around. That's what inspires me to write. Like this very one now, which is on marriage, love and marriage, the joy of marital fulfillment and family planning. I discovered that there are people who go into marriage, they don't even know left from right. And they begin to, go here and there. So not knowing what to do. For instance, now of late we've been hearing of domestic violence. It's one of the things I treated in this book long before now. So those were the things I used to see. Some husbands, they fight, and I said, no, I have to put these things together and pass it across to the people. So that just, those are the things that inspire me. Experiences, and sometimes ideas and inspirations.
Interesting. So do you think there are enough support systems for people with disabilities, both government and in the private sectors, to assist individuals with disabilities during these tough times?
My dear, I'm a practical example. The last government in Enugu State, I wrote 2 letters, the same letter. First one, I submitted. Second one, I submitted through the PA. No response until that government vacated seat. Then this one that is on now, well, I'm still believing God that maybe one day they will answer me. I have written 2 letters as well to the present regime here. I submitted. I waited. This 1 year plus now, the government, I have not had any response. Just last 3 weeks ago, I wrote another one again, giving them a reminder. Up to now, no response. So, I don't know. Even one of the big ministers in Enugu here, I written letters to him. Nobody's answering me. So I'm just more or less, I'm alone. I'm alone in the world. It's only God.
So in what way do you expect the government to help you? How best do you think they can assist you?
Yes, like now, what the money I need for the surgery, for the thing that is causing this my eye problem. And they're calling 5 million naira. It's okay, if they cannot give me 5 million, let them give me 2.5 or 3. Then we source for the other ones here and there. So, or they should not even give me the money. Take me to UNTH, neurosurgery department, pay for me, and I go there and do my surgery and be free. That's all. So I don't really need the money. But if they can still give me the money, fine, because why I will need the money? Because there are some other alternative treatments are found out that are available now. So, but they will all cost money. They will all cost money.
How effective are these alternatives?
Well, I think they're effective. Why, I've seen one person where a place whereby the woman told me that, because she's now working with them, that she went there blind, and after like almost a year with those people, they keep on treating her. She's now seeing, and she's even now working with them as one of their clerks or receptionists. So if I could have money, there are some good drugs. There are some good alternative drugs, honestly. There are good alternative drugs and the alternative medicines that are working. But they are expensive. They are just expensive. That's just the issue. They're expensive. Then, for instance, now, like the challenges I have in my health, not only this eye, if not for the fact that I'm getting little money from the sales of my music and my books, I use them to go and buy all those drugs. I don't know what would have been of me as of today. So those, they are medicines, some of them, they are drugs, are very, very efficacious. Very, very.
All right, I'm particularly concerned about this book you wrote about marriage. What do you think are the biggest problems of marriages today?
The biggest problem is lack of knowledge. People are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Some people think that marriage is just breast and buttocks. No, it's not so. It's not just let me just go into marriage and have pleasures. Marriage is another university of its own. Before you get in there, you have to sit down and really think about it. Study it. Think about it critically. In the school, they say critical thinking. Know what marriage is all about. So lack of knowledge is one of the biggest problems people are encountering. Because you see a husband and wife fighting, Sometimes when you wade in, you begin to probe, you discover that what is even making them to fight is non-essential thing, just because of lack of knowledge. And then two, majorly, unfaithfulness to each other. Then thirdly, lack of commitment, because marriage is another world. If you must go into marriage, for instance now, maybe you as a man, you've been around many ladies, or many ladies have been around you, and eventually you decided to pick one of them as a wife. There must be something that make you to say, I'm going to marry with this person. There must be something extra mile in that person's life. Maybe the person is humble, is caring, and goes extra mile with you. They decided to go into marriage with that person. So if somebody marries you and doesn't want to go the extra mile, that is one of the things that brings problem in marriage. So in other words, in marriage, one need to give extra care. You need to care or go extra mile to please each other so as to maintain the relationship.
With the things that are going on right now in marriage, and we've seen the rise of domestic violence in marriages these days, and many persons, because of what they have seen, they have said, in fact, it's better for them to be single than to be married. We've seen several cases. For example, the one that happened in Anambra, the man just set ablaze his wife, but after pouring her petrol. We've seen another case in Ebonyi State. In fact, all across the country, there is virtually no week that passes you won't hear one gruesome issue between a man and a woman. For somebody whom you profess love to, all of a sudden you're no longer loving them. You are daggers drawn. Do you think again that divorce might be the better thing to do when things like this come up, instead of staying in a marriage that would take away your life?
I would say 100% yes. Instead of somebody to die in marriage, it's better the person come out. Because a living dog is better than a dead lion. If you know that marriage will claim your head, my dear, run for your life. Let me tell you one thing. My own sister, there in Lagos, she's late now. Very beautiful lady. My cousin, or my wife, or my auntie. She was married to this young guy, and this young guy doesn't have a man. In fact, she was the one more or less like feeding the guy, catering for the guy. She so much loved the guy, and yet this guy was beating her, giving her beatings and all that. At the time, she was advised to opt out. She said, no, if I come out now, they say I cannot be able to stay in her husband's home for one thing. We left her. She continued with the young man. The young man kept on beating her until one day he beat her and got hold of her neck and squeezed her neck and turned her neck. And eventually she was rushed to Lut. That was why she died. I still picture her, very pretty lady, and she doesn't joke with me. She doesn't joke with me because my mother and my mother they are the same family. So she's somebody who could have helped me. She's alive now, but she's no more. So what am I trying to say? Had it been she left the marriage, I think for me that would have been a better option. that would have been a better option. Maybe if they had divorced, maybe along the line, one of them decided to, or both of them decided to, their head cools down, they can now reconcile, because there could be room for reconciliations. They can reconcile. But if you know that marriage, this one has gotten so bad, as it will claim your life, there's no option than for you to find your way out.
Interesting. So, what improvements would you like to see in the healthcare facilities in regards to their policies for people with disabilities?
Oh, the fact is that here in Nigeria, there are many hospitals that don't have all the equipments that are needed. And so the very few that are available charges very, very high. So I would like expect that the federal government try to equip all the hospitals with necessary equipments. For instance, now somebody may have one challenge, and you go to nearby hospital, you think it's a specialist. They also tell you they cannot be able to cope. They have to refer you to this hospital or the other hospital. So because of lack of equipment, so our government should be able to do more. Because these people will travel to their places overseas to go for treatment. They don't have two heads. I worked with the Americans when I was in Lagos, when I was still okay. I discovered those people, they don't do things halfway. Whatever they want to do, they do it with all their heart, meticulously. In fact, here in Nigeria, we think we have security. We don't have security. Just only working in the American embassy, man, I discovered that we are far from, all these things. So we need to step up everything we're doing in this country. That's just all I'm saying.
Okay, interesting. In a nutshell, what message do you have for people with disabilities out there that are facing the same struggles with you, that are going through the same challenges day to day? What is that word of encouragement, or what is that message that you have to tell them?
Like I sang in my music, never give up. Never give up, don't be discouraged. Don't you give up, it's gonna be all right. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. I've had testimonies of people who are in my situation now that not even treatment brought them back to normal. One day they just woke up and their sight came back. Then some, God answered their prayers, and they came back to normal. So don't kill yourself. Honestly, like myself, sometimes I get so frustrated. I cry. After crying and crying and crying, I ask myself, is this how I'm going to continue in life? But I remember there is hope, and it is better to have hope than to lose hope. So just keep on believing. As long as God, who created you, is in heaven, He knows what you're going through. He knows what I'm going through, and He knows the way out. That is my confidence. I know that I'm not going to die in this condition. I'm not going to continue like this. One of these days, these my two eyes will shine like torchlight. I'll come back here and show you people. So, what I'm trying to tell those who are challenged, like myself, one way or the other, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Don't always think on the negative. Don't always think on your problem. Focus on God. If you like myself can sing, sing. Make yourself happy. In fact, the compound where I live, if I go to the bathroom, I'll be dancing. Coming out to the bathroom, I carry my bucket, I'll be dancing. I try to make myself happy. That's just the secret. That's just the secret. Try and make yourself happy. Sometimes people can even make you angry, but refuse to get angry. Refuse to see yourself as a downcast person. See yourself as a full-blooded man. Yes, as a able-bodied person, even though you have disability. And I tell you, your faith will work for you. Don't lose hope.
All right. Thank you so much for this inspiring conversation this morning.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.